Peace. Peace. Let me know if you can hear me. I'm just now coming on. Apologize. We're a few minutes late here. I just wanted to make sure I had all the technical issues worked out. I just got in eating, make sure the food was out my teeth and everything else before we got started. So yes, I am finally on. We are now live. I can't tell if anyone is in the chat rooms yet. I see, because right now I am streaming on both Facebook and YouTube. So, hi, I see one person joined on the Facebook Live portion. Okay, and currently just kind of waiting for a few, we're just going to give it a few minutes to see if people come on in, then we'll get started. It will not be a long show tonight simply because, for one, we're not actually interviewing and I'm not taking calls just yet. Hopefully by the next episode, we will be doing that. If you can hear me, let me know. I just want to make sure I'm being heard. Please let me know if the audio and video is coming in clearly on your end. Right now, you should be seeing just a screen that says the live stream will be starting soon. I'm not actually on video yet, but I will be in just a second. Okay. Oh, great. So you can hear me. Can you actually see the screen right now where it says the live stream will be starting soon? Can you see that as well? I apologize. I just want to make sure all of the technical issues are worked out. And sometimes you just don't know, especially being a first timer such as myself. I want to make sure that everything, I guess, on the technical side is okay. Okay, great. Wonderful. Okay. All right, let me give this a few. We're going to wait about, let's see, roughly 2 more minutes to see if anyone else joins us. If not, we'll proceed and go on with the live stream. The podcast, they will not be uploaded till probably around maybe episode 3, 4, 5, somewhere in there, because currently I'm still looking for somewhere to actually host the podcast. So the live stream will be available, as soon as this goes up tonight and then, following episodes. But the podcast part of it is going to be a little bit later. I want to make sure that I'm big on quality. And I know a lot of people use Blog Talk Radio, but to me, the sound quality isn't always the best with that. So I wanted to really bring something quality. I wanted to make sure the video and all this stuff was on point as far as, quality and being able to hear me clearly. Can you hear me clearly? If it's coming in, if there's an echo or anything of that nature, let me know that as well. Because again, I'm a rookie at this. So just want to make sure everything's coming in smoothly here. Okay, we're going to give it about 30 more seconds, so we're going to get on with the program here. Let me see. Let me see. Okay, I guess I can't change that. Okay. Alrighty, my name is Phoenix Black, and I am the Black Health Advocate. This show, Heal Black People, was the idea that was started in my head probably, I know it was probably mid last year, around the summertime. The reason why I've started this live stream is because me, like many people, have been struggling with their weight. And I've been struggling with my weight. Like, it seemed like as soon as I turned 30, like my metabolism just basically came to a screeching halt. Now, mind you, I had other things going on. I had, here I am. Again, excuse the technical glitches and mistakes tonight is the first time. But the first time, I was really just experiencing a lot of, just difficulties was losing weight. I was, I thought I was eating right. I thought I was exercising right, doing everything that I needed to do to lose weight. And it just wasn't really coming off. I would lose like maybe 10, 15, sometimes even 20, occasionally 20 pounds, and then just gain it right back. And it was just, I did that for basically 8 years of doing that and not really making any major headway with my weight loss. And last year, something happened. Basically, it was my 20th year class reunion. And mind you, at the beginning of 2017, I was knocking on the door being close to 300 pounds. So I'm like, you know what? I am not going to my class reunion at this weight. I may have to go still being a big girl. I may not go look like Janet Jackson or anything like that, but I've got to get some of this weight off. And what happened with me basically was that I basically spent, $1,500 easily at the, going to doctors, getting lab work done. And I did this every year. Some years I probably spent even more than $1,500 because at one point I was even on the path to having weight loss surgery. But I was just got sick and tired of spending so much money and getting all this expensive lab work done and not getting anywhere, not making any breakthrough with my weight loss efforts. And after the last time that I did it back in the spring of 2017, I was like, okay, enough of this. I'm not wasting another dime and not getting anywhere in my weight loss efforts or getting any healthier. So I started really researching weight loss, obesity, all the underlying causes of weight gain, all that other stuff, just to find out what was really going on. What was the root cause as to why I wasn't losing weight? And in my case, I knew that I had a thyroid, issue working against me because I have Hashimoto's thyroiditis. In case you don't know what that is, it's an autoimmune form of having a underactive thyroid. Basically, your body's antibodies are attacking your own thyroid. And I knew that was part of the reason why. Well, for a long time, I thought that was the only reason I wasn't able to lose weight. But mind you, I was taking medicine. My lab work was coming back so-called normal. So I thought, yeah, okay, what's the deal here? And, but I just like to, began reading books. There are several webinars and so forth online about weight loss and everything. So one of the very first webinars, and when I say webinar, it was basically like a online docu-series. And the first one that I watched was by Dr. Isabella Wentz, which she's like a well-known authority about thyroid conditions, Hashimoto. She has 2 books. One of them is actually called The Root Cause. And it just really just went down a rabbit hole of various reasons why, things happen when you're trying to lose weight or when you're trying to get your thyroid regulated and monitored and getting the lab work back to saying you're normal, but you're still having underactive thyroid symptoms and so forth. And that was where it really started for me, was with that documentary. I believe it was called A Thyroid Secret, and actually you can still purchase it on her website now. But again, it was called A Thyroid Secret. I started with that. And then I started just reading a bunch of other books about how to go about losing weight. And what the recurring theme is that whenever you're overweight or obese, it's not just because you're not eating correctly, you're not eating properly, and you're not exercising enough. Those are like just very basic, but there's other things that can influence how you eat and how your body responds to what you're eating. There's other things that can influence how effective your workouts are. So it's not simply a thing of burning more calories than you're consuming. It's not that simple. It's and this is another key word that I learned from this, multifactorial. There's several other causes that go along with it. We're going to get into those a little bit in this episode, but as we have more episodes in the future, we're going to go more in depth with that. So let me go into that here. Again, excuse me if I'm a little off with this tonight. This is my first time. So let me go into that. Okay, reasons you're not losing weight when you're eating and exercising right. Now, for many of us, okay, some of us, we can be honest and admit we don't always eat the best. Some of us, sometimes we eat poorly. And that, it happens. I mean, even though I've been eating pretty decently and eat clean, I would say at least 85 to 90% of the time, some days, and if I'm having a cheat day, I don't always eat the best. Okay. If you know you're not eating right, there's certain things you should definitely do. If you're overweight, one thing I will definitely say, if you're overweight and you're not losing, despite your best efforts, make sure that you're really monitoring your carbs. When I say, I should say simple carbs. In other words, make sure you're not eating bread, make sure you're not eating pasta, anything that has flour. Of course, cookies and cakes, things like that are big no-nos. You should really work towards removing that from your diet, but I'm sure you've heard this before. That's not new information. But again, knowledge doesn't mean anything unless it's applied. So make sure that you're really trying to make every effort to cut those things out of your diet first and foremost. And that's something I've really worked towards, because I know for me personally, it took me forever to learn how to not eat my salads with croutons. I'm one of those people, I like a souped up salad. I like everything on my salad. But, you have to let the croutons alone, basically. But yeah, any kind of bread, cakes, cookies, those kind of things. And also sugary drinks, because those really, they really cause your blood sugar, your insulin to spike. And that's one thing that you really want to avoid. But we're going to start with this list of things here. And these are reasons that are just reasons that don't have anything to do with how you're eating necessarily, or if you're getting enough exercise. Number one is chronic stress. For me, this was a big one because, we all worry about things, a lot of times you don't think you're dealing with stress because you've learned how to suppress it well. I'm really good at suppressing my stress. And I was just discussing with some ladies here recently, hey, I can go to work and be going through hell at home, but go to work with a smile on my face and you would never know I was going through hell at home. But that's not a good thing necessarily, because just because I'm doing that, it doesn't mean I'm dealing with stress efficiently. Am I talking to someone? Am I going to a small support group? Am I going to counseling even if I need it? Am I journaling? Am I, implementing some type of meditation or yoga, whatever you can do to make that better, to manage stress better in your day-to-day life. But we all deal with stress on a daily basis, especially like me. And also this show is called Heal Black People. And, as we know, there's a lot of women that are also single mothers in our community. And I can't tell you, I'm sure many of you that are listening to either live or on the playback know, that being a single mother is a very, very stressful, it's just a stressful thing, period. For one, it's one person doing what really two people should be doing. And, sometimes, you may have the other person helping you out with that. Sometimes you don't. In my case, I don't, for the most part. So it can be stressful, and that's just something that, you can be dealing with stress in a bad relationship. Well, not necessarily a bad relationship. You can be dealing with a stressful moment in a good relationship too. But things like that cause chronic stress in your life. Chronic stress is just really day-to-day stress that we all deal with. And you just really need to ask yourself, how well are you managing that stress? Are you managing it? Are you suppressing it? Do you have a safe place or a safe person that you can go to and talk about what's going on in your life? But also there's also a shortcut that I'm going to tell you about. I don't know if I'm going to share it tonight or in a future broadcast. There's also supplements that you can take it's like a buffer so that your body isn't impacted as badly by the stress that you're dealing with, because stress does affect your body on a physical level. It's not just mental. It's just not emotional. Stress literally affects your body on a physical level. I will share this. There's a specific supplement that I take that I'm going to share with y'all later on what that is, that I take specifically to deal with stress in my day-to-day life. And it's one of the first supplements I started taking last year. And it gives me the energy that I need to get through my day. Like used to before, if I had a stressful day at work, if I didn't take it, when I got home, I would know it. If I had a really stressful day, it would just really wreak havoc on my body. I would like need to lay down. I didn't feel like talking or doing much of anything when I come home. But when I started taking this specific supplement that's great for stress, oh, I can come home and like just be on it. So I would definitely look into that. The kind of herbs that you want to look into, or the type of supplements you want to look into, is it's a certain herbal group. It's called adaptogenic herbs, but we'll get more into that later. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Number 2, and these are in no respective order, hormonal balance. And you see that I have in parentheses estrogen dominance and underactive thyroid, as I just previously mentioned. And there's other types of hormonal imbalances as well. Hormonal balances can be impacted by stress, or stress can bring on a hormonal imbalance. They can also be caused by what you're eating. As you all may know, a lot of the food, there's so many preservatives, and the animals, if you're a meat eater, there's the animals that you're consuming, or the meat that you're consuming, the animal may have been injected with hormones. We don't know what they've been injected with. They may be eating GMO corn and all that stuff. Even GMO vegetables, they all that stuff can have an effect on you, on your hormones. So that's just something you really need to be aware of when you're going to the grocery store. Ideally, of course, if you can, you want to buy as much organic and natural products or foods that you can, whole foods, buy them fresh as much as you can. Sometimes that is, I understand sometimes that's cost prohibitive, but the payoff in the long run is worth it. Because you have to look at it. You kind of have to weigh it. Do you want to spend a little bit more and get some organic vegetables that that your body should respond well to, or get something that's GMO that you have no clue how your body may be responding to, or it could be more than likely responding to it in a bad way. But we are going to get into that more in future episodes, where we discuss how you can shop, for organic, whole foods, vegetables, meats, whatnot, and save money doing so. Because if you're like me, I live paycheck to paycheck. I'm on a budget too. So there are ways to navigate through that and still eat organic for the most part. You may not be able to eat 100% organically, but you can still have it to where most of your diet is organic foods or natural foods. Okay, number 3. This is a huge one. And again, I'm just going to kind of gloss over some of this tonight. I'm not going to go in depth about anyone specifically tonight, but lack of quality sleep. I know y'all have read this before. A lot of these y'all probably, I know this shit already. But y'all, this live stream is going to really go into depth about all of these things. Tonight is just kind of like an intro, just to get y'all familiar with the things I'm going to be discussing in future episodes. But lack of quality sleep is huge. Y'all have no idea. And I'm from Texas, so I'm going to say y'all. But anyways, yes, lack of quality sleep. And people, trust me, that's why I'm putting it back on me. I cannot emphasize to you enough how important quality of sleep is. There is a book. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it on Audibles. You can get the hard copy of it, but it's by Sean Stevenson. He is a brother. It's called Sleep Smarter. And when I read this book, I was mind blown, because I did not realize how much lack of sleep can impact your body on the physical level in so many ways. It impacts it impacts you cognitively. In other words, okay, when you're in college, or, and some of us are my age going to college. I just graduated a couple of years ago. 3 years ago myself. But, you stay up late studying, and that's something that sometimes you just can't avoid that. But the thing is, when you stay up late and you're not getting enough sleep, that does it really impacts your brain on the cognitive level. And when you first, when you first wake up, you haven't slept well, you're kind of foggy. You get what we call brain fog. You're not really, you may, need to drink coffee to snap out of it, which I'm going to get into why that's not such a great idea either. But, it takes you a while to really just get up and, feel like you're alert and ready to tackle the day. But sleep also impacts your metabolism, which I didn't know. Circadian rhythms, which is basically, you've heard the term biological clock. Well, every cell, every organ, everything in your body runs on its own circadian rhythm or biological clock. And when you're not getting the right amount of sleep, all of that gets thrown out of whack. I can't tell you. And I didn't know this. And I was wondering why I was feeling like shit. And I didn't know that I wasn't getting enough sleep. So that is just really huge. I can't really, that's why I'm putting it back on me, because I cannot emphasize enough how important sleep is. You should really get the book Sleep Smarter by Sean Stevenson, but we are going to discuss it more in depth in future episodes as well. But it's really important. And if you knew how much of an impact it had on your weight and your metabolism, oh, everybody would be trying to strive to get 8 hours of sleep. I'm doing better. I haven't mastered getting, I would say I probably get about 7 hours of sleep roughly. Some nights it's 6 hours and 30 minutes, but I shoot for really just, if I can, 7. It's easier for me to get more sleep in on the weekends, but I also take naps during my lunch breaks. I take little power naps because those do kind of help compensate for your lack of sleep the night before, perhaps. But ideally, you want to get 8 hours of sleep, but it affects your weight, it affects your metabolism, and that is one of the key things that I had to change myself when I made my mind up to like just really, okay, you're going to start doing research, find out why you're not losing weight. That was one of the first things I changed, and that was the first area where I could see noticeable results in my weight loss efforts. One thing that I wanted to say too, and I read this, it's from, well, actually, no, he's on YouTube. His name is Dr. Eric Berg, I believe his name. And one of the key things you're going to have to remember when it comes to losing weight, you have to lose weight. You do not lose weight to get healthy. You get healthy to lose weight. And I think so many of us focus on I gotta lose weight, I gotta lose weight, that we're not thinking about getting healthy first so that our bodies can lose weight. And as our slogan is, our motto is here with the Heal Black People is, you have to heal to get healthy. And the thing is, when you're not getting enough sleep, your body is not recovering properly. It's not healing and doing the healing that it needs to do internally so that you can function properly when you wake up. So that is a really big thing there. But I just really wanted to emphasize that. Okay, now back to our list. Okay, number 4 is insulin resistance. And some of you may or may not have heard about this, but insulin resistance basically is it's when your blood sugar stays elevated for over a period of time. You're not quite into being diabetic yet, but you're on that path. If you are insulin resistant, you're definitely on that path. And most of us are on that path and don't even know it. I've read recently that the statistics are on diabetes that I think 50% of the American population is either diabetic or pre-diabetic. Well, if there was there is the stage before you get to being pre-diabetic, or even while you are pre-diabetic, is having insulin resistance. And insulin resistance can be impacted by the 3 things above that I've already mentioned. Insulin resistance can be impacted by chronic stress. It can be impacted by hormonal imbalances or lack of sleep. Definitely lack of sleep, because when you're not getting the right amount of sleep, that also causes your blood sugar to be raised more or more elevated. And I just, I discovered that here recently. This is more of a reason for me to try to get more sleep at night, because when I'm not, it raises cortisol. And if you don't know what cortisol is another hormone, which going back to hormonal imbalances. When you're not getting enough sleep, and when you're stressed out, your cortisol levels elevate. And when your cortisol levels elevate, also your blood sugar elevates as well. So you just definitely want to do what you can to keep those levels regulated. And but again, cortisol levels also cause if they get out of control, that is, it can also cause insulin resistance. But it's just like insulin resistance is basically like the pre-diabetes before pre-diabetes and actual type 2 diabetes. The best thing I would suggest for that I've been doing since when did I get my glucometer? I got my own glucometer mid to late February. And I have a family history of diabetes, but even if you don't, I would suggest that you buy one anyways, But I'm constantly, not constantly, but at least twice a day, I check my blood sugar. I check it when I first wake up, which is what they call your baseline blood sugar, or your fasting blood sugar. It's like what your blood sugar is before you eat a meal, when you first wake up in the morning. And I also take it 2 hours after my lunch or dinner. And sometimes you may want to just take it right after your dinner, just to see where just to see how high your blood sugar goes. But the thing is, the reason why you really want to pay attention to your blood sugar is because the thing is with diabetes, no one gets, well, unless you were born with it and have type 1 diabetes, no one gets diabetes overnight. Diabetes is like a process. It may take you years to get diabetes. It's just that some of us, depending on our genetics and other, lifestyle factors, some of us get it sooner or later than others. But it's a process. You just don't get it overnight. It's kind of like, and I was thinking about it before the show, I was thinking, it's kind of like with your credit report. What you do with your credit now can affect you years from now. And that's how insulin resistance and prediabetes and diabetes are. What you do today, and if you're listening to this and you're still a young person, like in your 20, 25, whatever, or even in your teens, what you do now with your health will affect you 5 years from now, 7, 10, 15 years from now. So really do your best to take care of your body now so that you're not dealing with a lot of these issues later. And then I'm not saying don't live, because when you're young, you want to be able to eat what you want to eat, and hopefully your metabolism is very forgiving of it. But even if your metabolism is forgiving of it, your body overall may not be. You just don't really know until you get in your 30s or 40s, and then you start seeing, I should have took care of myself better. So, but again, insulin resistance, it doesn't happen overnight. Usually it occurs from just a pattern of bad eating choices, or just a pattern of consuming the wrong foods, like, eating too many carbs, bread, pasta, cookies, cakes, Coke, sodas, all that stuff, all that sugary stuff, all the, starches and all stuff, just eating that and not getting anything in your body that's nutrient dense, not getting fiber, not getting raw vegetables and fruit. But one thing with insulin resistance as well, and all of these, mind you, all of these that I'm mentioning here is what also cause a lot of us to get abdominal fat or belly fat that we can't lose, or I won't say can't lose, but it's really hard to lose. But yeah, insulin resistance, it's a beast. And I know that I have insulin resistance because even though I've been monitoring my blood sugar for a little over a month now. Well, I think it's been right at a month now, but I've been, monitoring my blood sugar. I noticed that I'm like when I look at the blood sugar ranges, I'm like me eating right. I'm kind of I'm a high normal myself. And mind you, let's see how many days out of the week. At least 5 days of the week, I'm eating very clean. Now on the weekends, I still eat clean for the most part, but the only thing I will do on the weekends that maybe at some point I'm going to probably have to cut that out myself is alcohol. Like for me, I rather, and this is just me, some people have different vices. For me, I rather have a glass of wine than a slice of cake. That's my thing, but wine and any kind of alcohol, especially if you like mixed drinks like I do, they have a high level of sugar. And then not only that, when your sugar's elevated, you can't burn fat as efficiently as you could if your blood sugar was not elevated. So that's another thing to take into account as well. But yeah, it's a tough one, but it's just something where you have to do your due diligence. Like I said, especially if you have a family history of obesity or a family history of diabetes, you should have a glucometer anyways. And get in the habit of, like, after you eat, start taking your blood sugar an hour or two later just to see where you're at. You might really be shocked and surprised. You may wake up and take your blood sugar when you first wake up before you eat and be shocked. So, and not in a good way. But that just makes you, the idea is having that level of accountability, because what you don't want to do is just go through a year of eating kind of like willy-nilly and not really watching it. And then the next thing you know, you're having some issues when let me go ahead and get that glucometer. And then you find out that your blood sugar is like 150 or something, or higher, or going to the doctor and finding that that your blood sugar is out of whack at the doctor's visit. You know, you don't want to be surprised. You want to kind of be able to tackle things head on. Prevention is better than trying to treat something after the fact. So that's what we want to try to do. Number 5 is leaky gut. And I'm sure some of you may have heard about this, but with leaky gut, it's just one of those things where, and it's kind of a general term for different digestive and gut issues. You can have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. You can have basically it's just like where because you're in your gut. There's all sorts of living organisms, and it's what they call it. Some people call it a gut biome, basically. And like there's also these living organisms in your gut, and you have to have the right balance of different things, or I don't know if it's bacteria or what, or you have to but you basically have to have the right balance in your gut biome to function properly, because if you don't, you may have gas, you may have IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. You may have allergic reactions because your gut biome is out of balance, and things are just going crazy. I know myself, I was doing it, and I need to get back into it. I was taking a probiotic, and that helped me a lot too, because it helps keep everything balanced within your gut. We'll go into more detail about that as well in future episodes. But the main thing I know that I want to do is, like, as we have future episodes, we're going to have actual health professionals to join us, and I'll be interviewing them, asking them questions. We'll have a segment where you all can ask them questions as well, and have them to break down these things more in depth, because I'm just telling you this stuff because I, for one, and I should have said this at the beginning of the show, but I didn't. I am not a health professional. I am simply someone that is in the struggle with her own health, and I'm victorious. So let's say that victorious, but I'm simply one who is doing her own research and trying to get the information that I need to improve my health. I have several books that I've been reading, and like, again, the online docuseries that I've been keeping up with, just to help myself get in better health so that I can be a better mom, just a better me, period. So that's what's really important to me. But yeah, we will be having guests in future shows, and we'll be interviewing them, medical professionals, or preferably holistic health professionals, or at least some that have that, perspective. Because whenever, that's another thing that I want to really drive home with this live stream as well, is that it's not just one problem that you may have that may be causing your body not to not lose weight, or not keep it off, or whatever's going on with your body. Because we're not just, even though the show is going to be primarily focused on weight, but the thing is that we have to realize that there's so many things that affect it. You can't really cover it all in one episode. I'm sorry, you can't even cover it all in one book. That's why there's so many books out about getting healthy and losing weight. Okay, and last but not least, and there may be other reasons here that I haven't mentioned, but these are just the reasons that we're the primary reasons that you're not losing weight that I want to get into. I think these pretty much cover most of them for the most part. But vitamin, nutrient, and mineral deficiency. I recall back in 2011, I believe, I went to the doctor at that time. I had my vitamin D checked, and mind you, the optimal level of your vitamin D should be 80. Well, when I had my vitamin D checked, mine was 7, literally 7. That's a single digit number. Not, mind you, the optimal level is 80. I was 7. So I was nowhere near getting the amount of vitamin D that I needed for my body. And as Black people, we should be getting more vitamin D because, originally, we came from Africa, where, the sun was out. We were out in the sun all day and, getting plenty of vitamin D. Well, now we're here, been here for a while now. But we're not getting the same amount of vitamin D. And I suspect that's why that some of the health problems that we have are more prevalent in our community, is because a lot of us are vitamin D deficient. So that's definitely one thing that I would say, even if you don't have to be tested to find out that you're deficient. If you're taking if you take a vitamin D supplement, I would say your bases are covered. If you make sure that, especially now that it's getting warmer and it's springtime, going into the summer pretty soon, just try to go outside for enjoy being outside for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, as long as you can, and get out in that sun. I know some of us are like, I hear people say, oh, I don't want to get black. I mean, come on now. Really? Come on. It's beneficial for you to get out in the sun. And some of the processes and functions within your body will not function properly or at optimal performance if you're not getting enough sun. Not only that, but your circadian rhythms, some things will not function properly with your circadian rhythm, which is, again, is your biological clock that controls your everything, your cells, organs, everything runs on the circadian rhythm. And if you're not getting the proper amount of sunlight, that's going to be out of whack too. So if you're not getting enough vitamin D, that's going to cause a lot of other things to be out of whack. And we're going to get into that in future episodes. Nutrients. A lot of us, this is another thing too that a lot of people either do not know or they forget. You can be obese and be malnourished. You can be overweight and be malnourished. That's why I have, it can also be a nutrient deficiency. And the number one reason that so many of us have cravings for sweets and salty foods and so forth is because we're not getting enough nutrients. And because we're not getting enough nutrients, our body is sending a signal that I need to eat, and I need to eat something sugary or salty. And that's really not what you need to eat. You really need, when that happens to you, when you're getting cravings, that ought to be the number one indicator that, maybe I'm not eating properly. You could be thinking you're eating right, but not really eating how you need to eat for your body. And for me, and I know the number one thing that I really worked on within the past few months is making sure that I was eating enough vegetables. You can get this through salads. You can get this through smoothies, making your own, like kale smoothies and whatnot. And you can also get it through juicing. Now, me, I really like juicing, and that's just my thing. But, whatever works best for you, find your own thing. But make sure you're getting enough vegetables. And how do you know you're getting enough vegetables? Is when you stop craving things that you know you should not be eating. So if you're eating if you eat some corn and you're still craving cake, you didn't eat enough spinach. You didn't eat enough kale. You didn't eat enough greens and purples, and mix it up with your vegetables too. Don't just eat one color vegetable. The more colors, the better, and the more nutrients you're going to actually get from it. And the darker, intensive, especially with kale and chard and things of that nature, more things like that you're getting, and consuming. Those, your body's going to definitely benefit from those nutrients. So the main way that you're not getting enough vegetables or getting enough nutrients in general is that you're having cravings for sweet and salty foods, basically. Same thing with minerals. One big game changer for me personally was magnesium. And there's an author, her name is, and actually she's a doctor, her name is Dr. Carolyn Dean. She has a book called The Magnesium Miracle. I would advise everyone, especially if you're really concerned about your health, to get that book. Me personally, I take 1,000 milligrams of magnesium every night because magnesium, it also relaxes your body. It isn't, that's not all it does. I think there's I forgot how many processes within the body that magnesium plays a role in. So if you're not, but it's a lot. I'll have to bring that back to you at a later time because I don't have it in front of me. But there's so many functions within the body that depend on magnesium to run smoothly. And when you're not getting enough magnesium, which most of us aren't, that really throws those functions of the body out of whack. So it helps you sleep better. It helps you relax. It helps you regulate your blood sugar and your cortisol. All these things I've already mentioned, it affects all of those. So if you're especially if you're stressed out, if you take some magnesium, you're going to relax. If you're having a migraine headache or just a headache period, if you take magnesium, that's going to help you just really relax and calm down. Even simply just taking a magnesium or Epsom salt bath. Magnesium can be absorbed through your skin. And if you've ever taken an Epsom salt bath or even soaked your feet in Epsom salt, that feels amazing. When you get out, you feel amazing. It's so relaxing. So magnesium is very, very important. Another important mineral that many of us don't think about is potassium. And potassium, that's another one of those minerals that if you're deficient in it, it will affect your cravings, because if you're not getting enough potassium, you're going to be craving salty and sweet foods more, especially sweet foods more. A lot of times when we're craving stuff like that, it's because we're not getting enough potassium. And the main sources of potassium is through vegetables or bananas, but with bananas, you better watch the blood sugar as well. But you want to really try to get it from vegetables. Coconut water is high in potassium. And also, not only that, but with potassium, the reason why a lot of people have high blood pressure is because they're not getting enough potassium. Now, I am proud to say that I've been off blood pressure medication for roughly a year now. Yeah, I've been off of blood pressure medication for a year, but it's because I've learned how to supplement and eat foods that are potassium rich, so that I can maintain my own blood pressure and not have to take medication. And that doesn't mean that I never have high blood pressure, but on a day-to-day basis, my blood pressure, and because I do have a blood pressure cuff as well, which is another thing that you really should get, just so that you can self-monitor where you're at with your blood, blood pressure, and glucometer, of course, for your blood sugar, so that you know where you're at. Don't just depend solely on your doctor to tell you, oh yeah, you're this, you're that. You should already know before you even go to the doctor. Because I can't tell you how in the past I've been I used to get so stressed out because I didn't know what the doctor was going to tell me. If you have a glucometer and you have a blood pressure cuff, you're going to at least have some idea where you're at with those things, which is, they're going to do it there too, but at least you already know going to the door. Okay. And then you can already be asking the doctor questions. Okay, I noticed that my blood sugar has been a little bit elevated. This, and this is, but I only ate this, or I ate that, or I noticed my blood pressure was elevated this day, but I know I didn't eat anything that was really salty. Why is it still elevated? But again, when your blood pressure is all a result of a potassium, for the most part, result of a potassium deficiency. Because when blood pressure it's basically a balance of your sodium and your potassium. And when you're getting more sodium and not enough potassium, your blood pressure is high. When you're getting potassium and not enough sodium, your blood pressure is low. So that's basically what causes that. But there's so many other minerals besides magnesium and potassium too. But those are the key ones that, that I would say, at least for me especially, cause a lot of my issues. And when I started really working towards fixing that, I saw some real breakthrough in my, in my health and weight loss efforts. Because the things mentioned here, which is, chronic stress, hormonal imbalance, lack of quality sleep, insulin resistance, leaky gut, vitamin, nutrient, and mineral deficiencies, all of those can impact your cravings to some level. When you're stressed out, you want to eat some type of junk food. You may want a slice of cake. You may want to drink, hormonal imbalances. All of these are interconnected with each other. They're all reasons to lose weight, but they never really stand on their own. There's always some type of, even with these, there's always some underlying cause underneath these as well. So, and that's what we're really going to delve off into as in the following episodes of Heal Black People. And the reason why I wanted to have this show as well is because when I was doing my own research, there wasn't a lot of I wasn't able to find a lot of Black authorities, Black medical or health authorities that were talking about estrogen dominance, underactive thyroid, the things that I'm mentioning here. I didn't see where a lot of Black health professionals were talking about them. And I was like, this is, and, I can get information from anybody. Don't get me wrong. I mean, if you see, some of my books that I have about health and whatnot now, I can get information from anybody. I mean, I don't let, whether the author is white or Black, determine whether or not I can take their information. I don't. So, but I wanted to provide a platform for us as Black people, so where we would have the information that we needed, and get people that are, preferably Black health professionals as well, that can discuss these things. Like another thing that I do want to discuss in a future episode is adrenal fatigue. And adrenal fatigue is caused by stress and hormonal imbalance. So and it can be caused by a mineral deficiency as well. And that's something I want to discuss in future episodes, because that's something I've been impacted by. But this is definitely what I want to get off into with this show, is just a platform where we can discuss Black, Black health, or health within the Black community, the issues that we face. I'm trying to come up with kind of a schedule with that as well. I want to basically talk about nutrition, fitness, wellness, mental wellness, and all, and things of that nature. But the last Tuesday of the month is going to be more or less a freestyle, but I think we're going to probably make the last Tuesday of the month where we talk about sex and relationships. And when I do that episode, I really want to have, a male co-host. So if you're interested, let me know just to present, because sex and relationship is a hot topic within the Black community. Between Black men and women, it can get heated. It's something we all feel very passionate about. And it's one that I think is, be really fun to discuss. But also, even like I was saying with the chronic stress, relationships can really impact your health and well-being. Trust me, I know it does. So that's something I really wanted to, address and discuss, and like I said, get the male perspective, because I don't want it just to be one-sided with me talking about it. And when we start taking calls, it's really going to get fun, because again, in future episodes, I haven't worked out the technical part of it yet, because I know, like I said, most people use Blog Talk, but I want to find a different platform for that. But I really want to have callers to call in, and to be more, so that this show is more engaging and get you all involved instead of just looking at me talk about everything. But I guess I'm going to close out the show now. Let me go ahead and post some information so that you all know what to expect in the future, or how to reach me. Let's see here. Okay, this is my social media information here. I am on Facebook. Please reach out and connect to me on all of these platforms, especially if you're watching me on YouTube. Please subscribe to me on YouTube. But unfortunately, because the thing is with YouTube, you have to have 100 subscribers before you can get a custom URL. In other words, instead of searching for Healed Black People and hoping to find my channel that way, you can just type in youtube.com/healblackpeople and my channel will, automatically come up. But until I get 100 subscribers, I can't do that. So, if you would subscribe to the YouTube channel, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I am also on Instagram. And mainly on Instagram, I just post different little tidbits of information and what you call them, infographic memes and stuff like that. And I'm also on Pinterest, where I'm just kind of, again, gathering some memes, like a little, scrapbook of inspirational stuff and little infographics and tidbits of information and so forth. But that is my social media information. Let me see here. I thought I also had one for, let me see if it's here tonight. Excuse me while I try to find that. It's not that one. Not that one. Okay. I am unable to find it at this time, but okay. Oh well. I also will have a Skype call-in number, and I think I'll make a post about it, because we're not going to do Skype. I'm not taking calls tonight anyways. But I will in the future have a Skype number where you can call in, or you can even add me on Skype. And let me see here if there's anything else I wanted to address. Okay. No, I can't think of anything else. Okay. Sorry, I'm just kind of making sure I've covered all the things I wanted to cover. In the future, the show will be between 30 minutes to an hour. It just kind of depends on where I'm going. Tonight, I just kind of wanted to hit a lot of cover and hit a lot of things to make sure that, I discussed and laid down the platform. Let me also do the disclaimer again. Again, this show is not meant to be used as a substitute for professional medical advice. Please do not, try or any of the things that we talk about here, because this is just general information, without the advice of your physician. I have to say all this because I do not want to be fined or sued. I am not a health professional. I'm simply sharing my experiences of what I've dealt with in my own journey and path to health and wellness. What worked for me may not work for you, but whatever you try, seek the advice of a medical health professional, your physician first. If you do not do that, and even if you do that, Healed Black people cannot be held liable for that. So that's the disclaimer. And And I meant to really get a disclaimer at the beginning of the show, but I forgot. But that I'm saying it verbally, so you all know. And just bear with me because, like I said again, this is my first stream, and I was gonna start it 2 weeks ago actually, but it was just I wasn't even where I am tonight, so I wasn't ready yet. But I am ready, and as I learn more, I will be sharing it. Hopefully, you will see this show evolve and get better as the episodes continue. But yes, that is all I really wanted to say. Now I'm going to cut it off before I really start rambling. I hope you all got something out of the show tonight. Good night and peace.